I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. Oh, man, just so much to be grateful for in this month of November. Just so many things to be grateful for. And I'm just really grateful on where my podcast is going, in the direction that it's in and headed. The episode that you're going to be listening to is episode 13 originally. And I'm just so grateful for how well this episode has done and how well my podcast is doing, and just want to bring it back with some gratitude because Jim Wendler, just such an honor to have on the show. You know, First lifting program that I started really helped build my foundation in the gym and my recovery, honestly. And you guys will hear more about it in this episode if you haven't already listened to it. So go over there, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you can. I would very much appreciate it. And share this with a friend. And in the moments of sharing, I want to share something new with you guys. It's called Sweet Spicy, and I haven't had them yet, but they look amazing. All of my friends are just raving about all of them. They got gushers, nerds, peach rings, and it's this sweet spicy goodness. Like, they look delicious. Like, I try and watch my sweets. Well, no, that's a lie. I probably do more binging on sweets than I should. But tomorrow they will, or no, today they will come delivered. They just deliver them to your door. If you live in Missoula, I'm not sure what happens if they personally deliver them if they live outside Missoula, but they deliver. So I'm gonna, eat them and check on my Instagram later today because, well, the day of this recording, the 28th of November 2020. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling and let you guys get into the episode. So just go to sweetspicy.mt and just check these guys out, man. They look amazing, and people are loving them. I can't talk like always. So I love you guys, and enjoy the episode.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you a little better.
All right. I don't know what the fuck's going on. That's super weird. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's what happens with the.
Right. Yeah, I just did it on my phone instead. So, I don't know what's going on with my laptop. So I appreciate you taking the time and
Yes, sir.
This.
Yeah.
Definitely an honor to have you here. So who are you and what do you do?
You just giving me a big open-ending question. My name is Jim Wendler. Who am I? I guess I'm a man of my actions. So I have spent the majority of my life kind of dedicated to training. And as I've gotten older, I think we have dedicated, because training in sports is a massively selfish pursuit, that I think I'm starting to give back a little bit more of myself. So it is as shallow as it might say, but that's kind of my purpose. Besides being a father and a husband, is to spread the good word. Dr. Ken Leisner just passed away, and he was one of the few guys that were holding the torch. And I got to spend some time talking to him over the years. And so after his passing, you feel like I have to keep that spirit alive of training. So, that's, I don't have some great sense of immortality. Like I'm not sure I care how I'm remembered when I'm gone, other than to my wife and my kids and stuff like that, and my friends. But this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not saving the world from AIDS or anything like that. So this is my little contribution to society. So
I like that.
plus, it's fun. It's what I know. It's one of the few things I know very well. I'm not a good cook, so yeah. So that's kind of, I guess, there's a thing that says, I think the meaning of life is knowing your purpose and then sharing your purpose, something like that. So there you go.
I like that. So you're the author of 531.
Yeah, yeah. I should have probably said that too.
So when did you create that program? When did you start writing the book?
I think the program is probably 2007 was when it wasn't published really until the first book until 2009. It had appeared in other forms, like when I was kind of working on it, maybe a year earlier or so. I don't know. I would have no way of knowing when it was. But it took about a year, 2 years, probably 2 years. Over 2 years to get all the little shit worked out. And it wasn't one of those things where you just draw it up and it's perfect as is. It took a shitload of experimenting on myself and a bunch of my friends. And I wish I would have kept them. I had like the original notes and spreadsheets that I had, and they've gone, who knows where they are now. But it took a little bit of time. I mean, 2 years is really not that long. Like we've had, it's taken me a little longer to do some different variations within the program that have taken longer than 2 years. So, I've been training since I've been 13. So that's 31 years. So 2 years is, a minuscule amount of time. I didn't. It's funny because I think it takes about 20 years to really kind of hit your stride within a normal feeling okay. And I think there's, once you start getting to 25, 30 range, then things really start opening them up. And I know it's probably frustrating for people, who want to, I've been doing this for 6 years. I know everything. And then I think about when I was doing it, because I've heard that before. I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm like, well, when I was doing it for 5 years, I was 18, and I wouldn't trust a fucking thing I said when I was 18. So, but anyway, it took me a little bit of time, but I had all those years prior of training and coaching and stuff that people helped me out. So I had all that to draw upon. And so, yeah, it was again, it was done selfishly because I wanted to do something for myself that I could have a very black and white way of going through things. And then over the years, you start, molding and twisting and stuff, as long as it stays within the principles of the things I wrote. Because that was the first part of the book, was the principles. It wasn't the sets and reps that people get, because we've done the 5-3-1 program with sets of 10 and sets of 8 and sets of 20 and sets of 15, working with people. So it has nothing to do with the sets and reps. It would just happen to be a great name for a program. It had to do with the principles. And I've said that, since day one, and and more people would understand that, I think the better off they'd be. So.
I agree. I first started getting into lifting about when I was 19, so about 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And in that, there was like 6 months that I was just going in the gym, trying to write it down on a notebook. And he basically was a mentor to me. He was doing your program, and he suggested I read your book. And then I downloaded one of the 531 apps on my phone, and I got into it, and the simplicity of for me, somebody who's didn't really work out.
You need to be pushed in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. And said, do this. That's why I did it, because I wanted that same kind of simplicity and clarity, instead of just today I feel good. Well, fuck it. Some days you got to push a little, I wanted to have a plan every single day. And, it's a good plan today is better than a great plan tomorrow.
Exactly.
And for all, because, no program's perfect. That's the one thing I always kind of laugh about. It's like, well, it doesn't have this. I'm like, well, your program doesn't have this, asshole. So what do you want? Like, it's just the way it goes, man. Nothing, this utopia that people think seems to exist in training just doesn't work. I mean, you're going to have to sacrifice a few things. And, but coming from when I started working with more and more people, you start seeing, well, this is how we can kind of incorporate some different stuff. So that's been a huge thing. Has been just the training of different populations, I guess is the best way to say it. So, from younger to older. So, and I should probably say from beginner to advanced. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a little better.
Yeah. And it just, having the book and then having the app, it made it real simple. Instead of carrying around a notebook, you could have it on my phone.
Yeah.
And just do what the app tells me. I keep track, and it just, through that same concept throughout my years, I've experimented in different ways of training program, and I've adapted, other people's programs, but I still, when it comes down to it, I like the same principles of the 5-3-1. I sometimes do more aesthetics and strength training, and I really, I really like the program, and I'm honored that, when you said that you'd have an interview with me, I was like, oh, sweet. Like, this is, your program was really started off my lifting career. And
I'm glad. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, no, thank you. So besides training, what do you do in your free time? What are your hobbies?
What are my hobbies? Well, the biggest one is music. I play in a band, and I use that term loosely. It's just me and another guy. But with the age of modern technology, we can we record everything live. So it's just the guitar and drums, and then we go and add in the bass and the vocals and the other guitar layers and stuff later. So that's probably my biggest thing. I've been involved in music since I can tell you the day I first heard heavy metal, and it completely changed my life. It was one of those things I always like to joke about people. It's like when you're a 6-year-old and you see a pair of tits and you're like, I don't know what those are, but I fucking want them. I remember hearing heavy metal for the first time, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but everything else sucks besides that. And so at a very early age, and that was in 3rd grade when I first heard like Blue Oyster Cult. So that's more like a rock thing, but Blue Oyster Cult was my first band. And then in 5th grade, I got introduced to Slayer and Celtic Frost and Venom, obviously Metallica and all those bands. So I don't know how old you are in 5th grade, 5th and 6th grade, maybe 10, 11, 12, something in there. And so like I got hit with all the, the underground, not underground, but, the early Dark Angel was huge, all these bands. So I just been sucked into the vortex. And since I've been a kid, and then I played in a band for a little bit in high school, not the band, a band. I played drums in just a sloppy fucking high school band, just whatever. And
just jamming out with your buddies.
Yeah, it was my parents' basement because I was a drummer. You always practice where the drummer is because you got all this shit to move. So, besides all the sports and shit like that, we did that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you all the specifics of how much we practiced because it was so long ago. Anyway, so to make a long story short, I learned how to.
Fuck.
I'm sorry. That was my phone coming in.
Oh, no worries.
No. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's something I've always been involved in. I still have a huge collection. I still play, a reasonable amount for someone who doesn't make any money. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, that was my phone coming in.
Yeah, all right. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's probably my biggest thing other than just, being a coach and being a parent and being a husband. And the other thing, I love reading, but, that's just kind of normal shit. I'm not a terribly complicated person. my wife and I just kind of, we live under the radar because we like to relax a little bit. I'm not here to, I don't know. I can't, I'm not good enough to be pursuing different things. Like, I'm a rock climber now. It's like, dude, I barely am good at sports and strength training and figuring this shit out. I can't afford brain cells to be doing a lot of other stuff. And I just, maybe it's my OCD in this. I don't know. So, but yeah, I would say music, reading, and just, I don't know. I'm starting to shoot guns a lot with my friend Jason Pegg. That's been fun. So yeah, I just like to have as long as I don't have to be around a lot of people, I'm pretty happy. Let's put it that way. The less people I have to be around, the better things are. So
yeah. I don't like.
I hate traffic. I hate traffic. I hate being in crowds. I'd just rather be by myself or with my friends and the family in an isolated area. So
a small circle.
Maybe I should build like a compound or something and be some of those fucking crazy militionists, the militias. All right, sorry. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, go. It's I'm here and the world is here to learn about you. So
yeah, there's not a lot to learn. I mean, the one thing I tell everyone, especially if you're going to get married and we always laugh because you have to marry someone that's willing to give you an alibi after you murder someone. Like that's the closeness you have to, I'd be willing to go to jail for my wife any fucking day. And I know she'd fucking cover my ass. And, and there's a trust and respect there. And, I still, in lust with my wife and in love with my wife. And, she's sitting right here. I'm going to get laid tonight. But, we kind of figured out a nice formula that works for us. But the basic idea is we eliminate the big stressors in our life, and that is financial stress. And instead of, obviously you need to make money, but we just spend less money, which seems to work. My dad always says it's not what you make, it's what you spend. He told me that since I was in high school. And the other thing is we always date each other. So you don't want to just fall into that we're just friends category and I'm not saying there's not some mundane days and shit going on, but yeah. And, I could talk, give it like my wife just started volunteering because I coach at the local high school here.
Oh, cool.
In London, Ohio. That's my big thing. So I work with the football team, and over the last 3 years, we just completely started decimating people on the field. It's been a massive turnaround. We went from a 3-win season to next year winning 9 games. Then we won 11 or 12 the next year. Now we're going to the playoffs every year. We lead one of the leaders in the state in rushing. We rush for 470 yards a game. Just a bulldozing team. So that's what I spend. Besides, I guess that's technically part of my job, even though I don't get paid. That's just kind of something I love to do. But my wife started volunteering because due to the recent success of the football team, we're physically better than most teams. There's no doubt about it. And it's not just, we don't have necessarily better athletes. Our average guys are bigger and stronger than everyone else's average guys. And so we have a massive year-long training program that our kids go through on the football team. We train 51 weeks out of the year.
Oh, wow.
And it's a coordinated effort. Even the kids who play multiple sports are part of the off-season training program. So it's we're in a very small town here. There's like 10,000 people. It's huge farm town in Ohio. Not huge, large, expansive. Not a lot of people. So because of the success of that, we've had kids from the junior high coming over because they want to be part of the training process. But when you have that, now you have all these different levels of physical ability. And when you have 50 kids, varsity kids, and now 15 kids on the junior high, for example, there's only one of me. And I have to pay attention to 65 kids now, or whatever it is. And there's different levels and different varying levels of ability. And I just couldn't do it. Because you had one kid who can't squat, literally can't do a bodyweight squat. And then one kid who can, deadlift 500 for 8. That's the discrepancy in kids. So anyway, to make a long story short, my wife's decided to start helping out, and it just started recently. So we're trying to build a comprehensive training and fitness program, physical culture for our schools here, for our athletes. So they have somewhere to go from point A to point B to point C to point D, instead of just doing whatever the fuck they want. Now, when our kids get out of junior high, they are ready to start training with how we train. There's a London football way of training. There's no doubt about it. There's expectations. There is a strength and conditioning and mental level that we expect out of our kids. And so we started doing this as a community, and it's awesome. So we're trying to do that and give back. But it's one of the few, we're trying to create a comprehensive unified training program in our middle school all the way to our high school. And it's been good. The response has been awesome. So, and plus the effects have been awesome. I mean, it's unbelievable how physically we can just kick the shit out of everyone, which I'm a huge fan of. I don't even care about winning or losing. I just want to fucking bury souls. I'm getting all pumped up now because I just want to, that's the only thing that's important to me is fucking, wearing the opponent on my blood on my body. So.
Oh yeah. So how long have you been doing that for?
Shit. 3 or 4 years now.
Okay. How did you get into that?
Well, it was, I had just finished writing the 5-3-1 Forever book, which is the latest book. And I went to go do a talk with Dave Tate. There was one of the things that we filmed. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember. And so I had just got done writing the book, but it hadn't been out yet. And my wife was pretty much sick of me because when I start doing a project, I'm a total fucking asshole. And I'm just unbearable to be with. My wife is very patient. I'm unbearable as it is. But then you start putting in a stressful situation in which my brain starts churning, then I just become a fucking dick. So she kind of wanted me out of the house, let's just be honest. And so I went to go talk to Dave, and Matt Goodwin, who works at Elite FTS, he's their sales manager, I guess would be his title. His son was in junior high at the time. And Matt Goodwin said, hey, we need some help at the high school. Would you be willing to help? And I was like, give me the head coach's number. I'll call. And I'm like, it'd be kind of cool. And then I started thinking, selfishly, I was like, fuck that. I just basically write a book and then I just hang out for the rest of the year, right? It's nice. I don't have to do a terrible, that's oversimplifying it. But I'm like, I like my free time. And then I started thinking that it seems like an asshole thing to do to not give back to the community in some way. I think that's super important. I think the government fails us in every fucking way. And the best way to do that is with action through the local community. So instead of, waiting for the administration to hire a strength coach, I'll just fucking volunteer. We'll take care of that. Instead of waiting for the state to give us funds, we're just going to go fucking raise them. Instead of whatever. There's a million ways you could look at that. It's same thing with schooling. We look at our schooling as a government failed, it's failed. And so we work within the system to homeschool and partially go to take our kid to school. So because our family is our responsibility, no matter what the fuck anyone says. It is not the state's, the government's responsibility and it's not my neighbor's responsibility. And then because we're very lucky to have a job in which gives me a flexible time, I said, well, now it's my chance to do something for my area. I love living here. And I thought it would be a total hypocritical move to expect others to do shit, and I'm not doing anything for my area. So I volunteered, and when we first started doing this, I mean, we had really no traction. We had our first year. I wasn't in charge of the training when I first got there. I just helped out on the football field. So, but pretty soon after I started doing the training, but this was during the season. So you can't really do a shit ton of stuff during the season. The kids were tired and whatever, right? So I just started working with the JV with the kids that don't play a lot. And we started the very bare bones level. This is a long story, but to make a long story short, I started working with the younger kids first. So by the time the off season rolled around, the young kids who literally started for 6 weeks of nothing but dumbbell squats and push-ups. That's all we did for 6 weeks every fucking time we trained. I built them up into what we were doing as a program, the Cryptea program, the 531 Cryptea program. So when I got the off season with the varsity, we had 100% turnout 1 week after the season, after a 3-win season. Kids completely bought in. So after 1 year of the off season, we went from winning 3 games and getting our ass kicked to basically steamrolling everyone. And then the next year, we graduated a shitload of seniors. So we were like, this is going to be a tough year. We win. We were 11-1, I think, or 11-2.
Wow.
So, yeah, I just the big thing was, one, I think my wife wanted me out of the house. Number 2, I think you got to give back, and I think one of my rules in life is never, and this goes for you, me, any politician, any boss, anything. If you are not willing to do what you're asking others to do, then you're a total and absolute fraud. So if I see a politician saying I want a 70% tax rate and they're not personally throwing in 70% right now, then they'll never believe anything they say. If they want to eliminate cars but use any kind of motorized vehicle, then you're a fucking fraud, because you have to lead the way through action. And if you're not willing to do what you're asking others to do, then you are. That's why politicians lose wars. It's just the way it goes, because they're not in the thick of the battle. They've never never been asked to sacrifice something or do something. So there you go.
I like that. I can definitely agree with you and relate with you on that. I don't like people in my life that are fake, fucking fronting, whatever.
So we're very careful about who we let in, and it's not. I think we maybe get labeled antisocial, but I'm very social with my friends and my family. I just, and that doesn't mean I'm a dick to people. I just, the way that social media works, and this doesn't have anything. I just think you get caught in the wrong situation, or someone says something, or someone takes a picture and puts it up, and it makes you look like an asshole. And I trust my friends. They're never going to do anything like that.
Yeah.
And to me, I got too much to lose. I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but I have a business, and I'm not, I want to make sure that the parents of the kids I work with, I don't tone everything down I say, but I'm certainly not going to go take a video of me shitting on someone's yard.
Yeah.
I may do it, but I'm not going to video it.
All right, fair enough. So, in your business or in your personal life, do you have any struggles that you want to share? How you overcame those?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else you could do it other than just the one thing I tell my oldest son is, and I tell the kids at school, is it may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And I can't stand people who complain about stuff. So, and I'm not talking about like racism is bad. Like, you can complain about it, but I'm out of shape. Like, Jesus Christ, just shut up and do something about it. It just drives me bananas. I'll never forget when I got taxed for the first time. And I complained to I was like the first time the book came out and stuff like that. I was like, Dad, I paid like 40% in fucking income tax. It's like, well, just make more money. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Seems easy to me. So that's kind of that's how I've been brought up my entire life. Well, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is understanding that it's, shit's going to happen. It just, here's like a very funny, not funny. We came home from vacation, which we were very lucky to come, and we end up having a gas leak, a pipe burst, and our water heater break down all in the same day.
Oh.
And it's not like I didn't get cancer,
Yeah.
We didn't lose a child, but it's like, fuck me, come on, man. Like all in the same fucking day. So we got all these people out here. And you just realize, and then that just shit happens, man. And we try to control the things we can control. We can control our spending. We can control our attitudes every day we wake up. We can control the food that we put in our mouth. We can control how we spend our time, within reason. So you control that, and just the rest of the shit, you just have to understand you're going to get shit on a little bit and going to get punched. And it's just the way it goes. So, but the most important thing is to control what you can control, because people get out of, when life gets crazy, they get even crazier. It's like, that's when you got to buckle down on the stuff that you can control. So there you go. I don't know if that's really exactly everything that we do, but that's part of it. So.
Yeah. So for you to buckle down and control, do you have habits, morning habits that you do for that success?
Hey, you wake up, you fucking eat breakfast, you go to take your walk for the morning, and then you sit down and do your work. I try to read, write, and train every single day. I don't know if I really have a schedule. To 9 to 10, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Who did that? That was Benjamin Franklin did that. He was very. I don't really need to do that. As long as I get my shit done, I'm pretty excited. But a lot of it's just just don't spend your fucking money. I don't when we had all that shit come down on us, we didn't stress out that we couldn't afford it, because we're going to own our home in, I think, a year, 2 years. We're going to have, and we own our vehicles. We don't pay. So we just don't want any bills. And we could live in a much nicer house. Trust me, this house is not, I'm not living in a lap of luxury at all, but gives a shit,
Right.
So I guess
you got what you need.
Yeah. I have drums and a bass guitar and a bunch of amps downstairs and a guitar and a recording thing. And I got a weight room in my garage. That's fucking perfect. What do I have to leave for?
So you have your own gym on your own property?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you only train at your house?
I've only trained there for the past 9 years.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever trained anywhere else in those 9 years. Maybe I went to a commercial gym and did some presses or something with a machine and, fuck around. I think I've done that maybe a couple times. But for the most part, I'd say 99.99, it would qualify as 100% by a mathematician. Yeah, I have my setup. I have exactly what I want. It's fucking awesome, So I have no, I don't, my training now, I mean, I'm still stronger than the average dude, right? I'm not going to set any world records anytime soon. But my training is my time, so I train alone. I don't, occasionally if my friend comes over, we'll train together. But for the most part, it's just me. My wife trains alone because that's our time. That's the time that I love doing something that, keeps me free, keeps me a little tough, right? I do some stupid shit, especially if you don't have a spotter. You gotta tough shit out a little bit, which is fine with me. I don't care. People have asked me about that. I'm like, if that's my own fault if I get fuck up. But anyway, to make a long story short, I got, and I have sleds and prowlers and stuff we take out, and we have a half-mile circle around where I live. So when we push the prowler to the sled, we just push it for a half mile, and so it works out good. Yeah, and I have a kick-ass 3-mile route with a weight vest that I take. So I got everything worked out. It's not perfect, but whatever. You push the prowler do some squats, you'll be all right.
It fucking works for you. I
Yeah.
hate like the gym that I go to in my hometown. It fucking like sometimes there's like 1,500 people in there at once.
Oh boy, I can't
Yeah.
even stand 2 people in the weight room at once.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they
that'd be
have like
difficult.
fucking yoga and blah blah blah, and
Uh,
a bunch of other shit going on. Like the fucking
what,
parking
what
lot.
was
It
the
used to
last
be.
thing
What's that?
you said? Yoga and what?
Like yoga and Zumba and all that
Oh,
shit.
Zumba. Okay, that's like the dance thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Okay.
got like multiple things going on, and like my gym that I go to, it used to be an old grocery store, so the parking lot's fucking huge, and
Yeah.
you like got to park like 3 blocks away to fucking get a parking spot, and like just like if it wasn't so close to my house, I'd fucking switch.
Yeah.
But it just I go in there, headphones on, fucking throw in some 5-finger death punch, and just fucking train. And I hate when people come up and try and talk to me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking here to lift. I'm not like I don't want to get a date. Fucking.
Well, depends on what she looks like.
yeah, yeah. You know, there have been times that I have, taken the headphones out to talk to her. That's for sure. But for the most part, like I got plenty of friends. I'm not trying to fucking meet you. Like, if you want to tell me how to squat, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I have people in my life that I trust to correct me on my form. So, like, fucking whatever.
Well, it's at some point you'll probably go. Training means more to me now than it ever has. It means physically probably less for me. Meaning, when I played football, I needed it more. Does that make sense? Like like you don't want to go out in the field flabby and untrained.
Yeah.
Nowadays it doesn't really affect me either way how good a shape I am. I mean, there's no real consequences, I guess the best way to say it. But mentally it means more to me, and sharing that space with other people, I don't it just doesn't seem right for something that's given me so much. I want to, and as when you get older and you have kids and you have a wife and you got a job and you're doing this, like I want to be alone. I want to have that my time. Same when I do some listen to music or play my guitar. It's just me, and it's just that's why riding a motorcycle is so awesome, because you can only ride your motorcycle. You can't do anything else. You have to be in the moment, and that's one of the great things about doing that stuff. So, yeah, you'll come around, man. You'll save your ducats and get a power rack.
Yeah, that's eventually I would like to open up my own powerlifting gym in my town. That's eventually the goal, but like I don't want a gym with 1,500 people. I want like 20 people who are serious about it, and like a place where I can lift and more of a hobby.
Yeah, well, that's when you save your money. You don't do it to make money. You just we had when I was in Kentucky, my greatest training environment was a 1-car garage. It was 3 or 4 of us. That was it. So when some guy was squatting, everyone had to just wait until he was done squatting, and then the other guy squatted. It was tiny, and it was the most perfect setup in the world. It was we had 3 of the 3 original guys that lifted there. We had a 4th guy eventually, but I think all 3 of us hit elite. We had a 19-year-old squat 900 pounds, bench 600. I squatted 920 out of there, and benched. I don't know what I benched. I don't know. And then we had a 198er squats over 700. So it was so it doesn't take a lot. We had a power rack, bench, and maybe a reverse hyper, glute ham raise. Yeah. And we just stuffed all that shit in there. When you lifted, you had to take a bunch of it out. So, but yeah, it works, man. You just have to have oh shit. I never answer my door, by the way. I refuse to when the door rings. Refuse it. I'll sit because you can't really see, but the door is right behind me. So this is where I work. So they can see right into the house if they want to. I just refuse to answer.
Well, hey, if they fucking don't give you a heads up before, then fuck them.
Well, I just the way I look at it is I pay my mortgage here, and if you're going around door to door sell stuff and you're not paying me, you don't pay your.
Gotcha.
And I'm working. I got stuff to do. I'm not here to hear your sales pitch. So I just for fucking. And my youngest son will just go up and look in the side light. Look at the dude. Dad, let him be. He just fucking starts.
So have you, like, throughout your years, have you competed in any competitions?
The last one was probably 2010, maybe 2009. I don't know. I'm done. I just have no. I have no desire to do the things that I would need to do to compete. I know what
Okay.
it, and I'm not willing to make those sacrifices anymore. In both training and eating and mentally and physically, any of that stuff. So it just doesn't interest me at all.
Okay.
I reached all my goals that I really wanted. That's so. Yeah, it's just hard to keep going when you kind of did all what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I understand what it takes. I can't just go to a meet and just have fun. I understand some people can do it, but I have to be completely zeroed in. And so it just doesn't interest me anymore. I mean, not 100% of my interest is in helping the London community build a football team that's long lasting and for the ages. That's my goal.
Cool.
I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. So
Right.
because it's nice to get, for all the years that I did all the Q&As, like when I was at Elite FTS, we counted up how many questions I answered a month. And for about, I don't know, maybe 5 years, it was maybe 11 to 1,200 a month that I would answer. And so, you're doing some good, right? You're helping people. And that's a shitload of questions for years, hundreds and, thousands, hundreds of thousands I answered. And I feel like I was doing good work. And then you start working with, a fraction of that, right? 60 kids, 50 kids. And it was only then did I realize that's how you make an impact, is being there, not being on the internet. The internet it's a house, a deck of cards at best.
Okay.
You have to build real human relationships. You have to be there. You have to understand the people. You have to have that kind of one-on-one communications. And so it's like the first time in my life I feel like, I'm really doing some good. I really am. I'm not saying I didn't do good before and help people, but it's nothing even close. Not even close. And so
It's kind of like what you find your purpose is.
yeah,
Helping people.
not everyone can do that. I mean, I'll give you an example is my mom fed the homeless for years. That was
Oh,
her
wow.
thing. And because she thought, like she loved to cook and she was a good cook. So that's what she did. I don't give a fuck about the homeless, and I fucking hate cooking. So it's not my thing.
Yeah.
So you have to find something that you love and something that you're good at, that you can kind of help people at. And it sounds cruel, like I don't give a fuck, but I just my heart wouldn't be into it. I'm like, it sucks, man. What do you want me to do about it? But with I see this current state of fitness today with kids, I'm like, man, I can make a difference. I can help out. And then even so we're doing that on a micro level. And then obviously I love the sport of football, and that's something that has it's the best sport in the world to me. And it has, for everything that it's taken, it's given twofold.
Okay. So I know you coach it. Do you watch it? Do you have a favorite NFL team, favorite college team?
I watch football. I don't give a shit who's playing though.
Okay.
My fandom starts and ends with my family. Really,
Okay.
I don't give a shit about that. And I love my kids and stuff that I work with and London football. But it's like I tell our head coach. The head coach has shown, has been. It's hard to explain if you don't really understand this, but for a head football coach to give all the power about the training to me and not butt his head in, to have complete trust is very rare. There's very few people that do that because it's their team and they want to feel like they have a voice, and maybe so even whether or not their opinion is even relevant or educated, it doesn't fucking matter. You see it all the time in college, in every different sport. The coach thinks, curls. Like I've seen football coaches just want the kids to do curls because the big arms would intimidate and this is the Division I Pac-12 school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And so, I tell him I'm loyal to you first before I'm loyal to anything, before I'm loyal to the school, or anything like that, because he's the one, not the school. It's the person. It's the human relationship that I am loyal to. So, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, it does.
So the human thing is much more important to me than the idea or the flag or whatever you want to say for, that's why even when I watch football, I like watching good football. I enjoy watching certain players play, and but I'll never live in. I just don't care enough about another team. It's just I got no say. I don't give a shit.
Right.
So
you're not gonna have a shitty day because the Broncos lost.
No, I've never in my entire life felt any kind of sting ever. I don't know. I don't know. It's not now when your own personal life. Yeah. It's tough. It's not losing that's hard. It's not winning the battle you should have won. There's a difference. I always tell the kids is you see people always concerned with what I call the war and not the battle. The battle that you have every day is, well, what's our next set? We got to do a set of squats. Just fucking worry about that. Let's worry about this rep that you're doing. Don't worry about the war or at the end of the workout. Fuck it. Just get through. When you wake up in the morning, swing your feet out of bed, put your fucking feet on the ground. You won that battle, dude. You got to go hit the shower and get a cup of coffee. That's your next battle. So it's the little battles that you win. The problem is, yeah, and worry about what you got to accomplish at the moment, because you start adding those things up. They're small fucking steps, right? So I don't even talk about any of our games or anything like that, or even during the week, I don't give a shit about any of the games. I'll be like, dude, what's the next drill? What's the next thing we have to do at practice? Because you add all that shit up, and all of a sudden you start winning the war. So now in the game, I said, don't worry about the score, just worry about the next play. Win that battle. If whatever you have to do, to do your job on the play, just do it. And so if everyone does that correctly, miraculously, you start winning more games. Granted, sometimes it doesn't always work out in your favor, and I'm okay with that. We lost to the state champions last year. You got nothing to, they were just a better team. It's just the way it goes. I mean, fucking shit happens. So the losses that sting aren't the losses that you maybe were to a better team or anything like that. It's when you don't give your greatest effort, or when you could have won the battle better. So there you go.
So, you said that in your free time you do a lot of reading. Like, do you have favorite authors that you like?
James Ellroy is the greatest author to ever live. Okay. So, yeah, that's not even up for a debate. So if someone says someone else, you're like, fucking loser. No. Yeah, he's the best. I mostly read like mystery stuff like that. Okay. Stuff that I don't want to know how the book ends. And I was an English major, so I've read all the fucking bullshit, and I just want to read for pleasure.
Okay.
It'd be kind of like when you're playing football, for example, when you train for football, you got to do a lot of the shit in training that just sucks, right? A lot of stuff I didn't want to do, but you have to do. Now I do whatever the fuck I want, and I want to enjoy it. So when I was in college, I would read all these books I didn't really give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Now I just read shit that I just don't care. I have no I don't pretend to be an intellectual with my I'm reading Proust now. It's like,
Okay.
I'll read some Jack Reacher novels. I'll be okay. I
Okay.
don't need to be doing spend a week with one sentence to figure out what the fuck he's trying to say.
Yeah.
I just doesn't interest me anymore. So
Okay. I like that.
yeah.
I like
Anyway,
that.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure a lot of that stuff out, and I would have to have some help, and I just don't care about it. So I'm happy to be a simpleton in some ways. Yeah, but reading is a great thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, they always told me to stop lifting weights and writing and reading. You know, it would lead me to nowhere. Fucking assholes. Fuck them. That's why I'm very cautious with the advice that I get, and I've always been in my life because it's almost always wrong. And it's because people always have I'm not saying I should say when people seem to offer their advice, it's almost always wrong because it's coming from a fucked up worldview. First of all, who the fuck gives advice that's not asked for? But I think when I always followed my heart and my stomach a little bit, I've always been okay. So I didn't know how I was going to get to where I am today. I just knew I could. And so, but if I listened to everyone, I'd just be in some fucking sales job and, being fat and miserable instead of living the life that I kind of really wanted to. So granted, it's taken a lot of work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. You got to show up.
Fucking people don't see all the shit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I lived for years making less than $800 a month. That's not easy. So yeah, for 5 years, it's fucking miserable, man.
Yeah. Especially depending on where you live, like fucking sometimes rent is just $700.
Yeah, that's when you start. Turning tricks, going down to the, being a lot lizard down at the. I'm just joking.
Yeah. So I know you said that you don't like taking advice. Do you like have 3 pieces of advice that you like to give?
Well, see,
people?
you asked for it. That's different when people just offer their advice. You're like,
Yeah.
Boy, I don't even know. I would. It's I don't know who's going to be watching this. For married couples, I say that. How about this? Just live below your means is probably the number one thing, because when you're in debt in any way, shape, or form, you're a slave to your job. You're a slave to your boss. You're a slave to money. And I'm not saying I'm haven't been in debt before, but it's fucking shitty. That would be, in something of modern time, I think that's a huge thing. So if you can, somehow live a little simpler, save your money, find a better job or whatever you have to do. Because the worst thing is now you're just going to work to feed the debt demon, so to speak. I guess that's a horrible fucking name. So, and the other thing I would tell people is happiness is not easily earned. People always say they want to be happy and they want to be content. It fucking sucks getting there, man. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of time spent being miserable, trying to get to certain places. So that would be another piece of advice is, I don't know. I would assume most people want to be happy, or they want to give the illusion that they want to be happy. My wife and I talk about this all the time, how much work it's taken us to be, I don't want to say we're content, but we're where we need to be right now and we're good with it. And, in this industry that, the fitness or however, I think the best advice I'll give you is something that Dave Chappelle said is, you have to be upfront about how much of your soul you're willing to give. And so, what are you willing to do? How far are you willing to take it to succeed? And I don't mean that like, how many hours you work. It's, are you willing to to be a social media junkie, and are you willing to let people in on your personal life all the time? All this. Are you willing to put your kids on Instagram all the time? Are you willing to show cleavage as a way of getting likes and followers? Are you willing to put out a subpar product just to get money? And are you selling the names on your list to other people? Stuff like that. I think it's important that you set some ground rules. And the other thing is, people will smell a training phony, I think, a mile away. So that's the other, just make sure you're in this for the right reason, because some people can make a fairly good living, but I'm not rich at all. I just don't spend any money.
Yeah.
And instead of having to whore myself out all the time, I just spend less money and just figure out how to work with that. So my privacy in my life at home and what I do is way more important than anything I do on the internet. And so as long as I find a way to help people and do what I can, I'm okay. I don't need to be immortal. Okay. I don't need to be the toast of the town or anything like that. I just don't care. It's just not something I'm terribly, I don't know. All I know is I'm fucking super excited that we're making a unified fucking training program in a goddamn school that no one else is doing. So we are doing good shit, and everyone else, they can say what they want, man, but we're doing good work. So we're going to have a fucking army of a goddamn assassins out there. So, we're already getting transfers in from people. You know that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fucking London, Ohio. You couldn't even put it on a map.
Shit.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I fucking, my hometown's 30,000 people. So fuck.
But here's the thing. This is what drives me fucking bananas is I hear a lot from people like, hey, I wish we had a coach like you. And for the most part, people live in bigger cities, obviously, because that's where all the fucking people are. And you're telling me that in a school of 3,000 people, which may have a community of 100,000 or more, there's not one or two people that could fucking help out? That's bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. So, so I just find it kind of strange to me. And then there's, our next door neighbor here was a music teacher, and she does free shit all the time for the community and their church and stuff like that for music. So, there's someone just needs to be leading the charge in some way. And as soon as you give the power back to the community and keep it close, then it becomes it starts manifesting. It's like a good cancer. I see the parents doing shit that their kids are not even helping out with, their stuff that their kids are not even involved in here. So it's starting to grow, and that's what I'm excited about. So, I got no skin in the game. I don't have a kid in the school. So
you're just there to help. That's awesome.
So, but anyway, there you go.
That's awesome.
There you go. So what
else?
On.
Well, cool. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking the time. I was 19 when I first started lifting. I just got a treatment for drug addiction and trying to find a new habit, routine or something. And getting introduced to your program, it kept me focused and it kept me going. And I go in the gym, I have a plan, I go down, I do my workout, and it just from basically living in my car to trying to find something different. Your program helped me so much in that aspect. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Well, you are very welcome. I appreciate that. That's a fucking crazy story, man. And dude, I get it. There's a lot of people and maybe not as drastic as you that kind of needed some guidance, and I'm glad it gave it to them. It gave me guidance, and it was in a completely different way, obviously much less serious, but yeah. And how we talk about controlling what you can't control? That's something I can control. I know exactly what I'm fucking doing. There's no guesswork. I wear the same fucking thing every single day. I never even I wear black t-shirt and either shorts or pants. Black shoes, black socks, all the same. Everything's the same. And but so I don't have to think about anything when I go into training. I just I worry about my effort, not about what I'm doing. So I control it.
There you go.
Because there's two, like I said, the older you get and the more people you have in your life, the bigger your scope of your draw, the more fucking chaos there is. So, I try to contain that a little bit.
That's awesome. Before we go, do you want to, is there like a website that people can go to, or they go to Amazon, like buy your books or anything?
Yeah. Well, we're all over Amazon. That's been a huge thing. Our website, we have a blog. And we have a massive not massive. We have a very, very nice and operative web store with tons of gear. We update it frequently. We have all new designs coming out basically every season. All the books are on there.
And what's the website called?
That's jimwendler.com. So just my name.com. I have Facebook, a couple Facebook pages. So if you want to get updated on the blogs, we also have a newsletter, which only goes out once or twice a month, maybe. Maybe 2 or 3 times a month, I should say. So we don't bombard people with stuff because I don't like being bombarded with stuff. I have an Instagram page, which is just my name, I think, Jim Wendler. And I occasionally do like a open Q&A on there so people can write in. Because I don't type very well, my answers are very short and direct, which makes me laugh because it's as much fun for me as I think it is for people to read because I fucking laugh half the time. It's like someone said, what advice would you give to a natural lifter? I'm like, fucking take steroids. Because I don't want to have to type out 9,000 things. I got fat thumbs and I can't, because the questions will come in. There'll be maybe 600 or 700 questions. I can't, and I always preface shit like just don't ask me to write you a fucking workout here. Because there's entire, you want me to write, 155 pages. So there's, I do stuff like that. And so we got a shit ton of podcasts out. We are having a powerlifting meet that we're hosting now, the NOV meet in Topeka, Kansas. We're doing the Buffalo bar as the slightly cambered bar, the standing press, the strict press, and the trap bar deadlift. We have $7,000 of money given away, which is fucking huge. And we have beer vendors. We have food carts coming. I'm in charge of the music, so there's nothing going to be horrible playing there. So it's just going to be a good, so I think, and then we have a bunch of little things here and there, but it's exciting. It's awesome. $7,000 that, for a little meet is pretty insane. So
that's awesome. When is that?
That's a good question. I want to say that is in July. I'll have to. Hey, babe. Hold on 1 second. Hey, honey. Oh, my wife left. Yeah,
that's all right.
I don't know. So, but yeah, you can. We have we have our own NOV. So it looks like November meet. It's on Instagram. We can find it on my blog and stuff like that. So, yeah, you can come and get tickets to watch. We have a shitload of people coming to watch, and so yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm very excited. Plus, it's in Kansas. I love the Midwest. It's where I was born and raised. I've lived on both coasts. No, I've lived in the South. I lived on the West Coast. I've lived in the mountains, and I love the people here. They're good fucking people. I travel all the time. I used to. I don't travel as much as and these people will fucking greet you. They'll hold the door open for you. They'll say thank you. They'll look you in the eye, and they, according to the world, they might not be always, Harvard graduates, but they're good fucking people, and they're very appreciative of anything you do, and even the kids here that work at like the local fast food places, they'll thank you, an honest thank you for coming. When was the last time you saw that?
Fuck, not very often.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we really appreciate you coming out here, man. Thanks. Like, all right, like you don't own this place, right? So
That's cool. That's
yeah.
very cool.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's there's some good people out here. And then you go travel other places, and you're like, man, it's even when we go into Columbus, which is the nearest big city, it's a completely different attitude. And
Yeah.
that's why I refuse to go to Columbus anymore, because it's just let's put it this way: I've never been, besides on the East Coast, never been seen such rude people.
Really?
Rude workers, yeah. And I just got turned off. So
Yeah, I get
treat you
that.
like they treat you like shit, and I'm like, man, I go out of my way to, because I understand being in the service industry fucking sucks, because I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to do it. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, I wouldn't want to do this job, and so I'm terribly polite. I never complain about anything. But holy shit, these people. So Columbus kind of lost my. I mean, obviously it's not everyone, but what's the point of driving all that way? If
Yeah.
you're just, I'd rather just stay home with my wife and my family. So.
Yeah. I live in Montana in a pretty
Oh,
small community.
where at?
I live in Helena,
Okay.
so the state capital.
Yeah, state capital. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, there's like 30,000 people here. I lived in LA. I lived in Las Vegas. I lived in Spokane, and it's completely different. Like here, they're talking about like what you were talking about. I mean, people holding the door open, saying thank
Yeah.
you. But like if you go to Bozeman, a bunch of Californians are coming in now, and it's nothing wrong with Californians, but like,
Yeah, there is.
okay,
Let them say it, man. I'm not, obviously I have some great friends that live in California, but they'll tell you the same thing. It's fucking horseshit.
yeah,
You know what?
like they're just rude
The state,
people.
the state of California sent me a tax bill.
Really?
Yeah. I wiped my ass with it. I mean, I'd fucking paying you because they, yeah, they can go kiss my ass.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Like the people that are moving up in that area, they're fucking rude. It used to be a small ski resort town with Big Sky right up there, right
Yeah.
close by, and now it's just fucking. It's like a mini LA, and I hate going to that town.
Yeah. It's and so that's kind of, I don't know. That's the one thing I'm kind of worried about here. It's not going to happen for 30 years or so, but the town right next to us. Now, when I say town next to us, it's probably very much like where you are. You're probably more so where the next town is a big distance away.
Yeah. Bozeman's an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. Well, so Columbus is about 20 miles. Okay. And to make a long story short, the next town over to Columbus built up, and then the next one is now building up, and then we're the next one.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so they're not done building up, but that's where all the new couples are going. That's where all the new houses are being built. So it's only about 20 or 30 years until that gets saturated, that people come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried because we have nothing but farmlands out here. We got good people. I don't want that fucking stink. And they're already starting to build more houses. And I just, you want to preserve the dignity of a small town with the attitude. And as soon as the shitheads come, their voice, think about this. How many people are in the United States? Like 350 million?
Yeah.
60 million? 19 fucking people it took to pull off 9/11. 19 fucking people. It takes a very small amount to fucking ruin everything.
Fuck it.
And that's why I always, like, it's only a few percentage. It's like, yeah, 19 people fucking brought us to war.
Yeah.
Killed thousands of people. And so it's something to think about. That's why, we'll try and get this on a grassroots level, what we're doing, and then we just become impenetrable. You don't get to be part of it unless you adopt solid, good values of work and dedication. And so anyway, but at the same time, brother, I got to worry about my family first. So as long as my kids are taken care of,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame about Bozeman. I spent 2 weeks in Glacier National Park.
Okay.
When I was a kid, and I love, it's a little different when you're a kid, because when I was 16 years old, I just want to hang out with girls and fucking lift weights, and I was maybe even younger than that, but still, it was fucking beautiful. And my parents always took us places. We arrived in a motorhome that was rented.
Okay.
So it wasn't like we stayed at the greatest hotels or anything like that. So it was awesome though. But my parents always got us to go places. It was just amazing. It's just the weather's fucking tough, man. In Montana.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's April and it fucking snowed yesterday. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? It's fucking April.
I had a guy. What is Saskatchewan right above you? Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, I had a guy pick up a power rack and like a glued ham raise and a bench or something from Saskatchewan and drove through Montana, drove all the way to come pick it up. And I told him, like, if you're going to come pick this shit up, you better have like a flatbed or like a U-Haul. He came with just a regular pickup truck.
Oh, fuck.
So he just put the entire power rack that was he didn't even break it down. Whoop, your phone's going there. All right,
What
sorry.
Oh.
Anyway, to make a long story short, he drove from Columbus, Ohio, around there, all the way to Saskatchewan with a power rack standing up in his fucking truck bed. And yeah, I don't know why. I just have it sent. I fucking, bite the charge on shipping. Fuck it.
Right?
So, all right, that's a boring story. All right, I'll let you get going here. I know you got shit to do.
No,
So.
you're fine, man. I know. I figured that you're a busy man too. I appreciate your time. It's
Yes, sir.
You.
There's
Yeah,
my
right.
handshake.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Cool, man. Well, thank you again. Did that microphone ever get in the mail?
nope. No
Oh,
mail.
all right. Well, use it, trash it, whatever. I don't know if it's any good or not. The one that
Okay.
I wanted to send, it said it wouldn't fit in your PO box, so I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I don't know because they would just hold it then.
Yeah, but then the microphone right below it on Amazon, it got shipped. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking small town, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, we'll send it back to you.
no,
if you get
like
it.
keep it, use it, whatever. Give it to someone. I don't really care.
I'll sing some death metal into it.
Right on, man. Well, thank you again. I appreciate your time.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Okay.
All right, guys, and that was the end of the episode. So go over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review, and share this with a friend. And always, guys, if you're looking for some merch or some really cool swag, go over to eastcoasttags.com and they can help you out. So go over to eastcoasttags.com, follow them on Instagram and all of the other platforms, TikTok. She does a lot of stuff. So I love you guys, and use the promo code NOYB or none of your business. So I love you. Have a great day.